Welcome to the show. Master Union and Mission with Petra presents Harmonious Union Unfolding, Twin Flame Magic Channeled. The show of the day will be we're going to the core of my harmonious twin flame union in the essence of who we are and channel from that place. And because it is my special function, in a sense, in the world to present you with this new leading edge teaching of twin flames that I co create with the Christ Masters on Earth right now, I have sort of the function of the head magician that works in co creation with the Christ Masters. We do, my twin flame and I do, which is completely in line with what we did last lifetime. That is well documented and still available in large books around the globe. And the lifetime before that, and the lifetime before that, and the lifetime before that. But also, we have in this lifetime now gone further than ever. We're surpassing what we did before because we add the full living together in the now of romantically colliding and living this dream together. And that can only be done by us, by the Christ Masters, and by you when we work together. When you grant yourself the opportunity to do the inner work until you are inside the consciousness state of harmonious twin flame union, the different consciousness that you need, and then you can do it. What seemed impossible before because they ran away, now you can do it. And also, we had needed to go to that consciousness state, and now we can do it. And that's the difference between other lifetimes and now, but there's still always sort of a function that we have in all these lifetimes. And that function now has also crossed a line into a new phase. But regardless of that story, I thought that was a nice addition to who I am, who we are. Just for your information, in these shows of this type of channeling the twin flame magic, we're going to the multidimensional invisible core that we always are in our souls, me and my twin flame in our union. And it helps us be channeled into the physical world where we meet now. When I ask the help of the master magician, because we're related to that energy. And that's why in these kinds of shows, all the time, I go to a certain symbolic language that helps me connect with the master magician. And that is with the card deck of the Mayan oracle. Yeah, the galactic language of light. So we're going to do that together again today, and also we're going to use more oracle cards, and I prepared them here on the table, and I will pick them up when guided, and I will use them as guided. Embodying union wisdom so you can dance the romance of eternity with the true twin flame with ease is not common as of yet. But it can be drawn from the source of leading edge spiritual truth that is accessible from the core of my union. We vibe with the master magician, and therefore I can channel from our co-creation that is also aligned with the consciousness of Arcturus, because our soul core, Unitas and Selenitas, resides there. Today on the show, we have Harmonious Union unfolding. And that will be about our harmonious twin flame union unfolding over time and what is to come. And it says also a lot about what you can expect when you let your harmonious union come to you. And once you're in it, what you can expect then. So I'm expecting this live show to be extremely educational for you. And let me for a moment explain why we have the possibility to become a paid Patreon member on this and all live shows. You can listen to it and enjoy, and that is fine. But if you want the content of these shows to spiritually work healing on your union, you invest in the messages. That's how you support your union healing. Money unlocks it. And if you'd like to invest some in your union besides becoming a Patreon member, there is always also the strategy session for you that you can ask. And then we meet together online and we talk about how I can help you go to your harmonious union, guaranteed. People have gone before you and it all worked out for them. And we can discuss that in your strategy session. If you want that, there is a link in the description box below or in the pinned comment. But now let's make a start with harmonious union unfolding. It is a moment when you have done the specific twin flame inner work enough in a context that can give you the shift of consciousness that we're actually on the way towards, because that context has the consciousness state so that they can pass it on to you. And you made it. You did the twin flame inner work with a specific tool long enough, and there you are. You did it in a context where they have it, and you are in a harmonious union. Before, inside, and afterwards, it is all unique for you. How exactly that takes place, when it takes place, and like the details of it, etc. But at the same time, there are a lot of things that are patterns, and they only take place when you are in this unfoldment and not something else, not in a false twin flame, not in a this, not in a that, not in a fantasy in your own head that is actually not about the true twin flame, etc. So, and that is one of the ways in which I can make videos for you. I have a channel full of videos that are very educational about all kinds of aspects of going through these patterns in your unique individual way. And that is educational, right? Now, one of the things that happened was that we went to the state of consciousness of harmonious twin flame union 3.5 months approximately after we went to our definitive union, in which we fully understood it was a full union between us because we already know each other in this lifetime for almost 35 years. And we were classmates and we were acquaintances and we were friends. And in that moment that I see as the definitive union, we understood that we were also lovers and teacher and student, and everything fell into place. Except from the fact that it was difficult for reasons that until now I have not really talked about. For reasons of respect of the actual physical world that we live in. And I might reveal just a tad more about that in this very video, so stay tuned, that I've never talked about before. But nevertheless, even though we weren't ready to be physically together yet in the romantic relationship build up way, how we are used to think about that kind of relationship in the world, in the Western world. You know, like living under one roof and getting married and lots of juicy dates and sex and starting a family and whatnot. We were not able to do that yet. But we were able to go to the consciousness state of harmonious twin flame union. Just like that, 3.5 months later, when I fully accepted the situation and the deeper truth. And I accepted in my heart the certainty that I knew that I was choosing it nevertheless in the now. I chose it, even though it seemed weird, strange, and impossible to a very deep degree. And then we both chose it nevertheless. And it happened. Now, what happened ever since? We are working our way towards that in the physical world in a way that is harmonious. Harmonious twin flame union, the consciousness state. It's called like that for a reason, because it means that you start to move harmoniously together on earth in the now, completely harmonious, which does not mean that, well, in our case at least, that's individual, that we would immediately be able to be together and go on romantic dates, because we weren't in our case. But maybe in your case you are, and you are so welcome to do that aspect better than we did. And I assure you that you will be better than we did in that aspect, if you want that, if that's in your heart. It means that you're starting to move harmoniously together on earth in one movement. So maybe for you, moving harmoniously together on earth as one means being in the intimate relationship, saying I love yous, going on dates after a couple of weeks or months, getting engaged, getting married, getting the house together, building a life together from day one. And this all takes place within a matter of a few weeks to months. Yes, that's very possible for you. If that's in your heart and you are in the consciousness state of harmonious twin flame union, well, there you go. I want for you that happens for you as quickly as that. But the thing that every student of mine has in common that goes beyond the state of harmonious twin flame union, that is what it is all about. It is what the union is that you're looking for. You're not looking for anything else. That is what you're looking for. What we all have in common is that you start to move harmoniously on the earth together, twin flame and twin flame, harmoniously working out what this physical life together entails in a way that feels good, that is eternally building, even if you start with minus so many, like we did, or you start at plus 20, that's also fine. It will be an eternal, beautiful building from there on out. If you start at minus 200, that's fine too. You start to build from minus 200. If you start to build from 20 on up, well, I'm happy for you. Just be you, build from 20 up. You're having a beautiful situation. And I have a beautiful situation too, because it means the building starts within the love of twin flames, within the oneness of union, within the divine protection of this sacred relationship that eternally builds. So it doesn't matter where you start. It means that the building is eternally. It is guaranteed. It is harmonious. It is joyful. You won't run away anymore, neither you nor the other. And everything starts building. How exactly long it takes for you to go to that stage that you're actually looking for, like, when is the first date? When will he ask me to get married? When will we get married? You know, that differs a little bit. When that one starts, when that one is consumed, maybe next day, maybe it takes weeks, maybe it takes months, but it doesn't matter. Because what it is you will start to move both at the same time, harmoniously together as one in the world of forms, in a constant progression on the avenue of more, and more abundance. That's also why a lot of my work is called Twin Flame Abundance and whatnot. Because it's this growing with each other on that route that is happening there. Now, why did it seem to take relatively longer for me to arrive at that point in the development that everyone wants and thinks it is their right almost, and it's synonymous with it, like the dating and this, the having sex, and and going in that honeymoon phase of the beginning of a romantic relationship. Understandable, and it will happen. So why for us it seemed to take a little longer? Well, maybe for you to know that you can do it better than I did, and I want that for you. And another reason is, well, over time, I have understood that a good way to say it, that I have never said before, but that is also very understandable and very short to explain, is this: because his already existing children needed him more than I did in this relative short amount of time, that we were working out so many foundational things in as well, through which it was also a blessing to have that situation. That is also a giving situation for me, a situation in which I was giving, love to his already existing identity of a father, in which I was giving love of the already existing children. So I never said that before, but here it is. Remember, your twin flame is a love relationship. Love means that you're giving them love. If you can't do that, well, then you misunderstand the complete nature of what the twin flame relationship even is. I'm sorry, but that's just the truth. So that's our individual case. But I think, just as I said I was going to talk about, it also says a lot about general aspects of how this works. So I hope this is educational and you have a better grasp on what you can expect, possibly what kind of forces there are at work in such a development. Well, what I also in general want to say, still as introduction, because we need to go to the cards, isn't it? Oh my gosh. So, what I also in general want to say is what happens when you come in a consciousness state of harmonious twin flame union, for us that happened in March 2020, is that the healing is so profound. The sense of belonging is complete. You get into this enormously abundant space in which you are anchored into an overwhelming divine love that starts to steer you, that starts to direct you forward. in a way in which you can resolve all issues and problems and desires of abundance that you have ever encountered in your life. And piece by piece, they will all be resolved. And isn't that wonderful? It is what you long for. It has a repercussion on every life aspect that you can imagine. And you're doing all of this while, again, moving in harmony together with your true twin flame in form on the earth. Whatever that means at that exact moment, you're moving in harmony with them now. Maybe you're not yet at the first date in the quality restaurant that you want, which you can still keep on having in your heart that you want that. That's no problem and it will happen. But you're on your way towards that. And that all happens in harmony with each other. And it's beautiful. I mean, I started my family with myself and I parented my inner child. I completely reparented myself. I completely healed my childhood trauma of narcissistic abuse and sexual abuse. I completely healed my financial situation. I ended my financial debts of hundreds of thousands, said without any form of undue statement. I rolled out this complete new chapter of my already existing coaching life of spirituality. Well, and numerous more things. I healed my body to completion, etc. Just beautiful. And this sense of belonging, yeah, that was so deep. And everything made sense in my life. Where I was, how I was, what happened, my story in my head about my life healed, and every single thing started to make sense. Everything started to make so much sense. It was like one big mind orgasm about every puzzle piece of my life that I could think of falling into its ultimate place where it just started to shine with a light never seen before. Well, you want to experience that. Let me tell you that. You do. Oh, yeah. And like, don't come at me with like, oh, yeah, I understand because I also feel this twin flame love so beautifully. I already have it because here's the thing. You don't have it yet. Because otherwise I would know. Because there's only like a couple handful of harmonious twin flame union couples on the earth as of now, and that will of course grow and grow and grow exponentially, and we need more people to make that happen, so even you can play a role in that by having that as your mission to also become a twin flame coach in my system if you want to in the future. But some people, they come to me when they have enormous heart openings of the higher heart energetically, and they feel overwhelmed with divine feelings. And I do understand that that feels magnificent and crushes everything that you do before and whatnot. I absolutely understand that, and I take that very seriously. And I believe you. But that does not mean that you have harmonious twin flame union, the consciousness state. So there's the difference. And I give it to you, if you come work with me behind the YouTube screen, because that's why I'm here. That's what I do. That's my work. Creating content is not truly my work. I don't create content. I'm a I'm a spiritual teacher, you understand? So there you go. Well, that was all I wanted to say about that. So let's have a look. What? Yeah, this one. What do we have to say for about all of this with the cards? I mean, like, is the channeling, is that going to be sort of the same? So this is the card for the Master Magician Connection symbology, the Mayan Oracle deck. Ben, let's get the book. So here's the thing. I just have this idea that last time we had the exact same cards. Is that true? Did we? Ben, it's the symbol is a cane. Fluid reference points, time, space traveler, skywalker, angelic messengers, pillars of heaven, courage, new directions, mystery journey, compassion. Number 13. Shadow wisdom, desire for isolation, withdrawal, or retreat. Fear of the unknown, limited reference points, oversensitivity. But you can also transform the shadow. Explore your growth edges by directly facing challenges. Draw the light of courage and compassion into yourself and radiate it to others. Look at life as a sacred journey. I am a pillar of the invisible temple that brings heaven to earth. That's exactly what twin flame union is. When you are in the consciousness state of harmonious twin flame union, come with me. Feel the pillar of ecstasy that now grounds through you. Be filled with the truth that joins two realms. Heaven is where you stand. When you are in harmonious twin flame union, that sure is true. I am the secret of the heart. Listen to my secret. Here I am that I am. So this is really funny because I read this whole text to you, I'm quite sure, last time. So it's really about heaven on earth and going there together right now, in the now. So we're still at the same place in that sense. And it is true where I stand in my consciousness together with my true twin flame and why I opened the school fully for you, etc. So let's see, because there is another chapter in the book where I can read another aspect of the same card. Let's go there because then at least I will be reading something new to you. Let's have a look. Yeah. Ben is the Skywalker, the time space traveler who can leap dimensions to assist you in realizing heaven on earth. Ben is unlimited in form, but often chooses the form of the angelic messenger. A person who embodies cosmic wisdom may be known as a Skywalker, sage, or bodhisattva. When others see such light in human form, they feel the vibration of heaven. This vibration may be embodied by you or experienced with a guru, a master, an energy such as Ben, or in a chance encounter with an extraordinary human being. An encounter with the energy of Ben can spark a deep yearning within you for reunion with the source. Well, remember that your true twin flame is your teacher, and you are their teacher, and you are each other's student. So, this is truly speaking of that energy that comes through that. Yet from this place of love and compassion, you also have a desire, embodied in physical form, to serve the light. This is the place in you that has the courage to fully express unconditional love, the depths of your being. Yeah, maybe you could say this is also why, exactly at that place, your mission is born. Ben asks you to live the new myth by bringing this heaven to earth in your daily life. Right. Unfolding of mission in harmonious twin flame union. As this reality is lived, it touches and awakens the same truth in others, be it as a little child to enter into the kingdom of heaven. That was in quotes. Once you have been touched by the angelic presence of Ben, you are like a bell that has been struck. The cosmic tone, a new vibration, continues forever. That is true. Harmonious twin flame union is a new vibration in the world. That is why I say all the time that you need to go towards that consciousness state that will be truly different than what you have lived before. You will experience yourself differently. You will experience the world differently. It's truly something different. Although you're still human and you're still doing all your daily tasks and whatnot, right? And it is like another vibration. So that bell has struck. It's like the bell of, well, harmonious twin flame union. This is also how I know that my students are in that consciousness state, because it is as if I hear the inner bell with my inner ears, and I know, like, ah, yeah, one of my students reached it, and I can feel that. I can hear the bell, you could say, ring, really, like literally at the same second that it happens. I'm not kidding you. And that has been proven by my students that actually reached it. 4 of them have reached it until now, and you can be the next one if you want to. And there's now a quote: I am as a struck bell, once struck, there's no return. May the light of my love flow into the lives of all I touch and be gifted infinitely. End of quote. As you awaken, evoke the angelic presence of Ben, and you will remember that you too have wings. Following is a story about your star seeded roots. In the beginning, you were one in the radiant source that is unity. Out of creative love, energy exploded, becoming individualized aspects called starseeds, essence, or angels. Or maybe you could say twin flame unions. The source created these holographic seedings of the dimensions and essences in order to evolve the greater reality. Thus, cosmic consciousness expanded in many directions simultaneously. When the mythic call was sent out for the great transformation on Gaia, planet Earth, beings from many dimensions and star systems answered, incarnating at divinely appointed junctures in the evolutionary process. On entering time and space, these beings, yourself among them, were revealed, appearing separate from their true identities, their expanded essences, their I am presence. Now is the time to remember. Now is the time to embody your true identity as love, as twin flame union, in the consciousness state of harmonious twin flame union. Together in balance, we create the pillars of the etheric temples of heaven on earth. So this book is not yet initiated in twin flame union, but that's truly how you should read it. Or in other words, where a book and a system like this should actually evolve into, because it hasn't yet. And it's also true that there is something lacking in the Mayan language, or in any sort of language or symbolic language, because I have created a new one for twin flames in the present day together with the Divine Mother. It's a 9-point energy system. It is the key tool that is central, to which the 9-point energy system is supporting effort, and a lot more that belongs all to the creative identity method. But nevertheless, sometimes we can still, with the new perspective of harmonious twin flame union, look back at certain symbolic languages and use them within the new light that we have in twin flames. And that's what we just did with the Mayan symbolic language that connects to the master magician. And you could even do that with nature religions and also with church religions and whatnot. So, truly. Let's have a look. I have this feeling because it talked so much about the angelic nature um, of like this non physical, divinely guided nature of things. Um, let's have a look at the angels because I guess they want to speak. And this is the 72 angels of God. And I'm seeing this one and this one. Yeah, I think we're going to keep it here. So the first one is Angel 57. That is clothed on the card in a beautiful, yeah, how do you call that? Like, it's like a knight. And we have Angel 30 of Mayel. Let's see in the booklet how they pronounce it because the pronunciations are a little bit different than we think all the time. That's why I a lot of the time don't read the name from the card, although you see it on it. But the second one is a well-known angel that works with my work because it is the angel of abundance, twin flame abundance. And here is the first one, nor me, nor me. Well, that's I don't know how we should pronounce it. There it is in the booklet. And name means the praiseworthy God. All right. And it is associated with taking control, advice, military life, justice, discernment and observation, anticipation and farsightedness, strategy, decisions, actions, devotion to great causes. It is about greatness of mind, nobility of spirit, freedom, and designing your life plan. The praiseworthy God with the sword, which also plays a role in my system of symbology for twin flames that we just talked about. And it is really the sword of truth that comes down from heaven on earth. And that's what twin flames are. You will be completely individual, yet completely aligned with truth in divine truth at the same time. Very interesting, right? So it seems that it's very much this feeling, this sense of, yeah, exactly that. Coming down on earth as a twin flame means that you start to spread divine justice with where you stand, with what you do together with your twin flame in harmonious twin flame union that starts to play for you, no matter where you are in the development of form. It starts to play for you because that is just what that is. That's what twin flames that behave, that move harmoniously as one on earth are. And they start to become a sword for other people because they are grounded in the divine truth. So they know the discernment of things. They can give advice. From that, they have connected to the great wisdom of the ages at their core, and that starts to enrich them and heal them. That's what it means to be in harmonious twin flame union, and that's what starts to make you gain more and more of that and make you translate that, how for you individually that translates into form, which means the healing of the very many life aspects, such as your money, your body, your food, your creative life, your sexual life, your meditation life, your business life, your mission, and so on. Angel 30, the other one. Let's have a look. And I'm curious indeed how you pronounce it according to the book. They say it's pronounced as Avame. Okay. The patient God. It's about patience, protection from despair and sorrow. It's about the plant and animal kingdoms. Well, the resources, the abundance of the earth. It is very noble and it is about materialization and development and expansion. Well, what did we talk about? The development of who you are in form in all directions. From that conception, that inception point of harmonious twin flame union, the consciousness state for twin flames, and how connected that is, and how healing that is, and how home giving it is. It is about production, implementation, application, and planning. It is full of responsibility, healing, and restoration of health. It is really about fruitfulness and birth. Growth, bloom, and joy are integral to it. It is full of cultivation and harvest and rediscovery of the inner child. What an abundance, the angel of abundance. So, the spiritual truth angel and the material abundance angel are both helping us here. And these are both aspects that start to unroll for you in harmonious twin flame union. And I think this is also a reading for our harmonious union now moving forward. So I will have an amplification of the alignment with truth at the same time, the unfoldment of material goods and feeling good in the material world is also ramped up, and they are helping, and that is wonderful. And I think that is so exactly what this is all about. And it almost even seems like they are also symbols of the divine masculine, which is more like the sword of the divine truth coming down, and the divine feminine, which is more like the feeling at home in a very luscious earthly life. And then they are together. So the divine masculine and divine feminine coming together on earth, being the heaven on earth, which is really and literally true when you go to the harmonious union consciousness state. Okay, and I am now looking at my cards and I see my own card deck. So we're getting that one. It is the union, the manifest union and mission card deck. And let's have a look which one tells us a lot about what we need to know right now. And it is card D 2.2, traveling from not working aspects to a purified version. And you see the 9 um, planets of our solar system. And it is truly the frequency and atmosphere of these, of the influence of these planets that could give you the feeling of traveling from frequency to frequency. You align more with this frequency that belongs also to a certain planet. And then you travel further and you align more with that frequency, and it also aligned with another world, so to speak, another planet. And that is really, well, that's how the journey feels, you know. But that is also, by the way, really how it feels when you go from not in harmonious union to harmonious union. It's as if you come in another frequency where you are completely on a different planet. So you're still on Earth, you might say, but you're completely on a different planet because you experience it wildly different. So that may be just a good description for how that is. And then within that, you just start to feel these chapters like, oh, and now we're leveling up, right? Like new chapter, like new frequency, like new planet almost, you know? And so this means, well, the cards in the booklet, the card has the title Guidance Through the Journey. because you're guided to these next steps. So I think I, and you too, because you're listening to this, are on the verge of a new chapter. You're going to a new level. You're growing into something you haven't experienced before. And for now, we're going to keep it there, but we are going to add a 9-point energy system that I designed with Divine Mother to help twin flames in this time. One of the energy symbols, this one, and it is number 7, which is the back of the head and the energy field in and around it. And it means, well, it is the point within your energy system where you could locate the energy of the divine masculine, which is on that level, on the physical, energetic level of things. And when we are talking about twin flames, you have to understand that there is also this higher level of things in which you are either divine masculine or the divine feminine and never both. And that is on the level of you and your twin flame in your union. But when we speak about the level of within your own body energy system, that is the symbolic point of the divine masculine indeed. And it also stands for like insight and like new input and like this divine truth coming down. It's like the judgment comes down, the hammer comes down. And well, that's a lot of the time how that can feel. The hammer comes down, a new aspect, a new chapter arises, the hammer comes down, because there are learning moments too, it's not that it is like a boring kind of heaven there. No, it is very much alive and you truly learn things there. And let's go to the oh Mary Magdalene deck, which in itself, the deck is like the counterpart of the divine masculine. Mary Magdalene was the divine feminine next to Jesus, her divine masculine. So then we have another set of divine masculine, divine feminine going next level to in this journey of traveling to heaven on earth. So yeah, I mean, we are going next level. You heard it here first. And you might too. And the card that I just got, it is the same one. I just picked it up from my desk again. From the Mary Magdalene card, when I turn it around, it says the revelation. The revelation. Well, there's a whole some sort of primordial soup here with a primordial light, sort of. It also looks like a flash of light coming forth of a cell or something, a circle that is like a cell, as if the egg in the divine feminine has been fertilized by the seed of the divine masculine, which is exactly the same as we talked about before. And this light comes out of the beginning of life, which is what Harmonious Twin Flame Union is on a spiritual level. And it keeps on giving out more light and more light. And there is this ever pulsating moment with more light. And that's also the steady growth that comes out of it. It's like it's this portal. You become a portal with your twin flame where this pulse of light all the time pushes out more light, which also translates in abundance on the earth in form. And it pulsates more and it pulsates more. And it does create this new chapter. And it creates ever new chapters and all these ever new chapters are on a completely different level than you have experienced before you were in harmonious twin union. In a sense, the whole universe becomes recreated for you, and a whole new set of adventures and chapters starts to open up for you. It's like a new level of chapters. There's still chapters, there's still inner work. It's not boring, but it is a whole new level of chapters. Let's have a look at what that might mean with the um, Egyptian cards. The Nile, river that brings life. And it's about letting flow your feelings as well. Listen to your feelings and act upon them. You are going to be, says the card, in a quickening of the flow, and fertility comes onto your path. I mean, that was traditionally what the Nile was to the ancient people of Egypt, and still the present day people of Egypt. That was that there was a seasonal overflow of the water of the river, and that made sure that within the Sahara Desert there was an area of fertile land, because the water made the sandy area fertile so that they could grow food. So that was very important to sustain life, because they had something to eat, right? And they even had like when they had like boats to also spread the food over a large area in Africa, so that more people, more communities could live from that crop, which is of course also translated to that the water is the feeling. So let your water spread out, let your feeling life spread out, let your heart speak, so that your life becomes fertile, right? Idea for an exercise, says the card. Look for water somewhere, grab it and program it with a positive intention, which is one of the things that we do with like source magic in the creative identity method. Yeah, that's really true. Really nice. Thanks for reminding me of that. Absolutely. Nile. Well, it was the sacred river, of course, as well. And it is like the spine in that whole world, right? The whole like African world, North African world. Maybe you could say, in a sense, the whole world, the whole of Gaia. Um, and I mean, the spine in a human body is also like the river of energy through your central nervous system that, you know, touches everything in your body. And when you let that flow over of the right kind of heartfelt union based energy, and you bring that into the water, into your literal nervous system of your entire body, that is going to fertilize all your bodily functions and daily life into the feeling of being with the harmonious twin flame union energy. And that's certainly what is happening right now in my harmonious twin flame union life and daily life. We're just more and more going into this place where there's not only a lot of healing and a lot of giving space for the children and giving space to get used to certain roles in life that are essential and that might have been somewhat denied before, or had been traumatized before. But now we're going to a place in life where there is an incredible overflow. You know, I opened my full twin flame school. I healed my debts. I healed my trauma. And now we're going to this place where it starts to overflow from the fullness of having been healed. And now it's just this beginning of like, wow, here is all the giving, and here is all the enjoying, and here is the true pleasure. That is a pleasurable physical life on earth, but it is connected to the divine through twin flame union. And that is the whole difference why it is true pleasure. And why the whole underlying spiritual path in my twin flame school is called the pleasure path. Well, there you go. Well, let's see what the Native Americans have to say about that and their symbolic system. 16. And we see this beautiful, fully dressed chief of an American Indian clan with a horse. And let's have a look in the booklet. Taikomol, god of rain, gestation is what it means. Taikomol was once upon a time a creator god who was called he who sewed up the world. He arose from foam, from water, the only thing that existed. Well, didn't we just talk about the water of the Nile? For the Californian Yuki, Taikomol is he who walks alone. And so he created the world. After creating the world, including humans, and giving them language, he ascended to the skies and lives as an old wayfarer, a pilgrim of the heavens, detached from the lives of humans. When it rains, whenever life is nurtured and brought forth, we are reminded of his great gifts. Message: let the waters of your heart burst forth and nourish the world around you. Give with no expectation of repayment. Gestation, solitude, fertility, tears, cleansing, healing. Isn't that exactly what we just talked about with the Nile? So the abundance is just completely reiterated again right here. So the abundance is huge that I am entering into, that we are entering into in my union. And there's certainly this promise for you as well if you enter into what I offer, because I offer you a relationship in our school here. And if you take my offer, if you take up my offer, then you will follow into those footsteps, in these incredibly abundant footsteps. So there you go. Taikomol is like gestation, so that's like the symbol for the period of pregnancy in which there's more and more and more, and then there's the birth. So, yeah. I already told you that I have now started also my 2026 way of giving back to the world, because I'm called like that, and that also feels like such an incredible. We have the next card, abundance, unbelievably abundance, and it is in the woods, and the forest is so beautiful, and the leaves are not even yet on the trees, but it is already like a dream to me, because I love the forest on the other side of the river. That is also where my twin flame lives, and um that's where I grew up. That's where we grew up. So I'm there now for 5 days a week. Can you imagine? It's so beautiful. And the leaves will come on the trees the next couple weeks, and I think it will be such a festive way to celebrate that I'm giving back to the world. Creativity was the card from the mission deck. Your soul longs to express itself creatively. And isn't that, again, the reinforcement of the same message? I have always talked about creativity, and my method for twin flames and to live from that harmonious union space in the world is still called creative identity. And you will still find, when you come study with me, very many references to being a life artist, which is what you are on the highest level as twin flame. And I have always talked a lot about creativity and being an artist, and art as a metaphor, and art as almost therapy, etc. In my whole um, professional like development of the last 25 years. And that is still valid because there is no higher form of creativity than creation itself. And to celebrate that fully, and that's what you do when you go to your harmonious twin flame union, the consciousness state, and live that. And that is truly a live artist that does that because it is still very new at this moment to truly live that. Even though almost everyone knows about twin flames nowadays. But that's not truly living it in the way it is meant to be, in the way it is opened up by the Christ Masters right now, to live that in the right consciousness state so that it is real and true and tangible and doesn't go away anymore. Let's have a look. The very abundant beings of nature, the Fae, wanted to help with this reading as well. And so here is their card deck, and I see the card, and here it is. Stardust. Having a premonition. Galactic communication, begin and end. Well, doesn't that again have this feeling of a new chapter? And I also feel that for us as collective and in the Twin Flame School, there is a new chapter in 2026 that opened up. And we talked earlier about the feeling of stepping into the soul hospital for Twin Flames that has. And I think we'll next week do a reading about more on that topic, because that was like the premonition that we got a couple weeks ago in a reading with Divine Mother or with our soul essence. Well, I would need to look that up, but either one of them. And that's what came out as the theme for 2026. When you step into the school now with me, that is really the feeling that you're stepping into. And we're also going to have a look into this very special deck that I almost never use for the videos, and it's a tantric deck. Well, and how incredibly fitting for this very abundant reading it is. Because it is so much about the divine masculine and divine feminine all the time. And it is so much about this luscious feeling of expansion that you have within your next chapter. And the tantric sexuality between the divine masculine and divine feminine is, of course, the whole topic of this tantric deck. They do suggest tantric in the sense of the narrow meaning of the word, like bedroom secrets, suggestions for it. We have this one. And we're going to look at that as a symbol for how that new chapter might feel to you. Might also be literal for you, who knows? Well, I think the card is just saying that it is time for Tantra. It is time to be together. It is time to celebrate that togetherness in the physical as much as in the spirit. It is time for the abundance. It is time to go to a more passionate, intimate chapter where things come to a new height and heat, so to speak. That is literally the backside of the card says time for Tantra. Is card number 7, which is also a very spiritual number. It is time to do that. For me in a new chapter, for us in a new chapter, to go to a new chapter of expressing our love to each other, meeting each other in the forest, having conversations, feeling the intimacy, being body to body with a few centimeters in between, having that sensual feeling of each other's presence physically. That's where we are going. And you can go to your next chapter in your Tantra too. Because when you go in the consciousness state of harmonious twin flame union, what I discussed before, you start to move harmoniously together. And that is a dance. And that is the Tantra. Look, when you lay in bed together, doing beautifully intimate, physical, sexual, tantric things together that you both love and enjoy, that is just a physically more close way of enjoying the same as enjoying being in the harmonious dance together wherever you are when you are in harmonious twin flame union. And both have their place. Listen, when you go to harmonious twin flame union, the consciousness state, you will start to understand that the feeling of being touched by the overwhelming divine love that flows into your heart starts to steady out into something that is continually able to be experienced. And you start to understand that this feeling that beforehand you might have fleetingly experienced in a meditation, or when your twin flame came around 5 years ago once and then they ran away again. But now it starts to completely and utterly be the foundation of your life. And it starts to heal you, and your heart starts opening up, and you start to live through it, and you start to understand that this is the highest form of pleasure and enjoyment that you can experience, and that it is in that sort of unphysical, in a sense, consciousness state of being in harmonious twin flame union that causes that. And there you are experiencing this ecstasy, so to speak, as the foundation of everyday life. And you start to understand that this is what the greatest pleasure is. And all your sexual orgasms in a physical sense that you experienced before are nothing in comparison to it. But then when you are in that, like, body, like, how can you say that? Body over outgrowing the body, this the feeling of ecstasy that outgrew the body, and you have that as your foundation of your daily life experience. When you are in that enough, and you also start to then feel the actual bedroom sexual intimacy with your true twin flame inside that consciousness state, well, that is the Tantra of Tantra. It can't get any higher than that. And it is completely and utterly different and removed from anything that you experienced before. That's how that will go. So let's have a look in the money aspect, because I have made many videos trying to explain to you how that is also within the twin flame abundance of things. And it is just like twin flame sacks made out of energy. Well, there you go. That was a short version of the explanation. And this is I already have the card, but this was the Angels of Abundance deck. And it is about obstacles and blocks are lifted. So for us, obstacles and blocks are lifted. All your good personal work and your positive energy shift have overcome previous obstacles, and blocks are lifted away. You will now experience progress and forward movement with your projects. Stay centered in gratitude to ensure that your flow of abundance continues. Well, again, more confirmation about the very thing that we've talked about all the time right now. And also for you, obstacles and blocks are lifted when you step in the world that I offer you, in the relationship that I offer you behind the YouTube screen. So, blocks are lifted in financial sense, in abundance sense. Sure, because that was the deck that was about that. Let's have a look what that means in the abundance of the divine in general in this deck. And here it is, grounded. Many of the most evolved beings on earth are very regular folks, living with joy, dignity, and courage. Exactly. Everything feels different, but it's also, in fact, very grounded. And in a sense, super normal. I behave like a very normal human being every day. I just take care of myself. I cook dinner. I do groceries. I go to the forest. I make sure that I have all my ducks in a row in the all the very many worldly things that we need to arrange every day for our contact with our government and whatnot, which for some people is also very grounded and worldly and like logic and stuff, right? So, yes, that's where you want to go. You want to simplify, actually, and live in fullness of what that harmonious twin flame union has to offer you with your true twin flame in harmonious union, and then simplify and then just be together. And then it actually looks like just a daily life, but on a completely different level. And here's the thing, you really want that, you really enjoy that. Let's have a look. What more do we have? We have some advice from the psychological wisdom cards. Well, just show us this one. I accept that life sometimes gives me pain as well. All right. It is not that we search for the pleasure that is the opposite of pain. Pleasure and pain belong to your daily life. That is just grounded to see that both as true. What you plug that pleasure and pain into is the bigger next level pleasure of the harmonious twin flame union. And within that experience, you will sometimes smile and sometimes cry some tears because you keep on being a human being on that level too. At the same time, and you better accept that, because from that acceptance, you can enjoy that deeper peace. Let's have a look into the spiritual wisdom as well. Okay, I think we want, well, okay, that's 3 cards at least, but okay, then we have 3 cards at least. Let's have a look. That which gives you pleasure and enjoyment, in that I am present, which is God and your twin flame and union. Well, it's again talking about this true pleasure path. And the next one, everything that you long for will be given you. Long, therefore, to that you have the wisdom to, in every situation, long for the best and highest. And then we have the last one. We look at God when our life is trembling with fear, to then realize that it is God that is behind that. And let's have a look what kind of mythological theme of transformation fits the next chapter to in this deck of the Oracle of Transformation. And it is the Mermaid of the Koi Lake. Time to rediscover your personality. Become the dragon. Wow. Become the dragon. Okay, let's have a look. 41. Sounds fierce, right? You may have taken over personality traits of someone else. You may have somehow lost your own voice like that without you knowing, but it is time to regain your true self and do it fierce as a dragon. After a time of camouflage, you have forgotten who you truly are. But now you've grown out of that chapter and it is time to move on. You have to swim upstream and become this dragon that grows out of being a koi fish almost. That's like a transformation. Yeah. And you will one day be a mentor to level up for others too when you do that. That's what it said. And I think that's a wonderful conclusion for our reading, even though I now see that we can still add the angels of abundance. No, not the angels of abundance, the angel answers. So let's add them to give us an idea about how we can close this off. Oh, well, two just flew out of it and turned over. So here we are. And one of them is called Get More Information. And they have some sort of like an old Merlin kind of teacher there in the six-sided star of David. And the other one is improving health. And we have like the caduceus, sort of a figure with an angelic figure and also a cup at the heart place. So these are two very profoundly healing symbols, like the geometric, the divine geometry, and because this is like the, how do they call that? Well, they also say it's like this vehicle of light. It's also two pyramids, one upside down, one right side up in each other. That's like the 6-pointed Star of David in a 3D way. And this caduceus form, like the intertwined kind of DNA strand, kind of energy flow, that also is how the energy moves through your energy fields in your body. Is also like the kundalini kind of energy moving up of that energy flow. that heals you of everything that is going on inside that. And this is a symbol for the same. So I think that we're in this hugely powerful energy space moment in which you can like change your entire energy field all at once through this instrument of and this moment of transformation of energy through the next level in your twin flame journey that is not energetic but beyond it. Get more information and improving health. Well, all in all, it feels as though we're going to a new level in which new information comes in, and all that new information, all that new results is going to be improvement. It's going to be a large improvement. And health for me is very happy as well, because at this moment I'm working on my lungs. What are you working on at this moment? So the lungs is also the same as that I talked about, that I am giving in society at this moment, in the forest, which is the lungs of the earth. So this is very healing for me as well. It's just like on all levels, so complete. So this is the next level. It is just an enormous improvement, and where new information can come in. And that is going to be the heaven on earth of my twin flame union. And you can join that by taking my hand and let's connect in the world behind the YouTube screen. I bow for the primordial truth. I bow for the value of creation. I bow for the truth of beauty. I bow for everything true and of purity. Manifest creativity. Creator of us all, be with me when I open to connect with myself, when I uncover the creative source to retrieve her, the way you have placed it inside of me, and the way in which the exact same source moves and guides you as well. O divine creator, make that I will be receptive to your voice and lead me to the rhythm of your breath, so that I will find the movement that leads me, find words for it, and can experience the being of them openly. Thank you for the abundance that is received in this moment. Thank you for the power that makes that I receive this moment. Amen. Your next step. Don't forget to actually start the process and jump on the team. Actively come to our community, start doing the correct inner work, and ask the support you deserve through our services, so that we can start a relationship that will lead you to harmonious union and beyond. When you're not in a relationship, you're not on the team, and you can't expect the results that I am speaking of. You can come to your strategy session to speak together on your options if you want to. creativeuniverse.earth/strategy session. The show notes. You can, however, support this ongoing Twin Flame live shows. As such, make it possible as co-creator. Without your participation and financial gifts, I cannot do anything, because we need to have an energetic and verbal visual exchange for things to make sense and to know what I need to talk about for you. So let me know what you need me to talk about next. And also, we're on Earth, and that necessarily always works with money as a means to make sacred content actually physically flow. Therefore, I post the show notes in Patreon. Come over and enjoy. Have influence on the broadcasts. Don't miss out on the behind the scenes experience. And I publish at this moment, not I will, I do publish at this moment every week a new valuable Twin Flame article on Patreon every week. Patreon.com/PEJ at Creative Universe, or the link below. Normally, the Divine Love reading for Twin Flames that is connected to being in Facebook community Your Abundance, another beautiful first step in connecting with me online besides the videos, besides Patreon. Normally, that Divine Love reading that is available there goes for €255. But this month, when you are a second tier Patreon member, you can pay only €211 and you get the Divine Love reading. And how to obtain this favorite reading that every self-respecting twin flame lover needs on their journey, well, ask me the link with more info and the reading. About the reading, yeah, and then ask me for your personal pay link. Yeah, sure. So, this is how it is. You can watch my videos. That's beautiful. There are ways to connect more outside of the videos, and that is you can go to Patreon. It's beautiful because I give you back. I give you back deals. I just talked about the deal, and this is only one of the things that you get in the Patreon. And another way to get a beautiful connection with me without fully, going into coaching and in the school yet is the group Your Abundance on Facebook. And there you find a lot of free downloads about the central twin flame inner healing tool key, videos, downloads, posts about it, the whole shebang. And yeah, there are also specific offers for services that are only available right there in the Facebook group. So, Patreon on Facebook are just two ways in which you can already, yeah, enjoy a whole lot of very valuable things that move you in the right direction. And they're available quite easily, just like that. Just go to Patreon, just go to Facebook and enjoy. Now, if you really want to start and you're ready, then we talk in the strategy session. So that's how you should see it. I am Petra, in the consciousness state of harmonious twin flame union since March 2020, as we talked about today. Worked with the new Christ Masters on Earth right now to roll this consciousness state out so everyone can enjoy the abundant life with their true twin flame soon enough after going in with me right here. Don't search any further. You found what you were looking for. Om. Amen.